The Guamanians have a term for a storm that doesn't really amount to much. They call it a banana storm. Well, in the days right before Mangkhut, it looked like it could be a big one, and we prepared accordingly, at least to the best of our ability. The storm didn't develop to be as strong as it was predicted and took a turn toward the north. Our neighbors on Rhoda got the worst of it. Thus, for us, it turned out to be a banana storm, one with enough strength to break banana trees and not much else. We have some broken banana trees on campus. A breadfruit tree was uprooted, palm fronds and small branches littered our campus. Really, the debris makes a pretty impressive pile. But in the big scheme of things, not much of any consequence happened. We are greatly thankful that no one was hurt, and we are grateful that the roof on our classroom, office, men's dorm building held up. Most of our equipment wasn't working until just a little while ago. So I took my cell phone out and thought I'd get in conversation with a few of the students who were sitting out in our pavilion to find out their thoughts about the recent storm. Many of you have met Scott Repalong. He is one of our administrative assistants here at Pacific Islands University. And Scott, I'd just like to ask you a simple question. What was something positive that you learned from dealing with Mangkhut?
With Mangkhut?
Yes.
Something positive is that you need to move way ahead of time to save more time afterwards.
Okay, so if you wait until the disaster is upon you, it is too late.
That's right.
All right. Some of you saw the gentleman who was a fugitive from the 60s in one of our still pictures. His name is Marco. And Marco, what did you find out about some of your fellow students in dealing with Mangkhut?
That when there's problems and we all can work together and get things done faster.
We can work together and get things done faster.
Yep.
That is a wise statement, Marco. Thank you very much. Here are a couple of our freshman students right here. This gentleman, actually, he's a second-generation PIU student because his dad is a graduate back when we were known as Micronesian Institute of Biblical Studies. And Jesse, can you say that there was anything you enjoyed about coming through the storm?
Yeah,
What was that, Jesse?
the wind.
The wind. Tell me about that.
It was fun.
It was fun. Was there anything positive that you learned from dealing with the storm?
Anything positive? Yeah.
Go ahead.
When we all, I think one of these two said it earlier, when we all come together, we can get things done.
Okay. And tell us why you chose to come here to Pacific Islands University as a student.
My dad told me to come here, so that's it.
Your dad told you to come here. Do you think since you have been here, you've been here what now, 3 weeks, is that right? All right, in the 3 weeks, have you found your dad to be right or wrong in wanting you to come here?
Right.
Right. And what would you say is something that you appreciate about Pacific Islands University?
The thing I appreciate is the bonds we all formed. We all formed a bond, just like that.
Okay. Unity. What do you want to do with your life? I know you're a freshman, you got a lot of time to think about things, but what do you hope to do with your life, Jesse, when you graduate from school?
Get a job.
Get a job. What kind of job do you want to get?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet?
Yeah.
Do you think you're learning any skills that will help you in that regard?
I think so.
Okay. And what about when you get a job, how do you plan to use that opportunity in God's service?
I don't know that much.
Don't know that much. Okay. And I've got people running from me here, but George wasn't fast enough to get away. So, George, let me turn around this way so we get a little better light. Okay. There you go. You can see George's handsome face now. All right, George, I know that your family is involved as civilian contractors with the U.S. Navy.
That's correct.
Yeah. And they basically had to throw you out of the house because they live in base housing, and you're
past the age when you're supposed to live there. So,
Unfortunate.
in a sense, you didn't have much of a choice. But tell us anything that you have discovered you appreciate about PIU.
I really appreciate the people here. They're very welcoming, all the students, the teachers, the faculty and staff. They've all welcomed me with open arms and been very accepting, very forthright, and very nice people. They really show the love of God, and I hope to return that favor to them.
How does it feel to be like me and to be a definite minority here? How are you surviving that?
It's been an interesting experience, but all in all, it doesn't really make much difference. You see some small differences between people, but honestly, it makes it a little bit interesting to bridge that gap and to make up for that cultural difference and to kind of meet people halfway, or to maybe even go above and beyond to get to know people, get to know their culture, get to know what makes them tick.
Okay, and so you are learning some cross-cultural skills just by living here, right?
That's correct.
Anything you've eaten that you didn't think you would eat since you came here?
What's the name of that juice that was being made yesterday out of those little tiny like seed plum looking? What is that called?
Calamansi.
Yeah, calamansi juice. Very sour, but very good.
It's kind of like a little lemon or lime, and people think it's really good for colds and things like that.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah. So thank you, George. All right, let's see who else have we got here. Miyake is. How many of your siblings have been to school here at PIU before you, Miyake? He's counting on his finger. 4 before, so you're the 5th one. And you are the youngest in your family, right? And the smallest, right? Now, Miyake can really talk. He say something, Miyake, so people will know you can talk.
My name is Miyake.
Okay. And that's not like the guy in Karate Kid. His name is K-I at the end instead of G-I.
KY.
K-Y, excuse me. And besides that, if there's a fight, Miyake can definitely take Mr. Miyagi. No doubt about it. He can handle it. Okay? And all right, don't hit the phone. And Miyake, I know that your parents wanted you to come here to school, and as I say, you're the last. Several of your siblings have graduated from here. One of your brothers is a student together with you. So tell us what you appreciate about Pacific Islands University.
I just appreciate the care that we all have for each other here on campus.
So, would all of you say that the only purpose for this school is just so you can get together and have a good time?
No.
A lot of people are shaking their heads. So, what do you think is the overall purpose of what we're doing? Now, I keep telling you what the overall purpose is. What do I tell you that the mission of this school, the purpose is?
Change the world. Yeah.
To change the world. Do you believe that's possible, Marco?
Yes, it is possible.
Tell us how you think that's possible.
By doing little by little.
Little by little. Okay, don't pick your nose in front of the camera.
Sorry.
I'll have to edit that out now. Little by little. And what do you hope to do with your education? You're a senior now, right? About ready to graduate?
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you hope to do with your education when you graduate?
Well, with my education, I plan to use it in whatever community I am in and use it for the glory of God.
Use it for the glory of God. And speaking of glory, there's a glorious young woman sitting here. Would you like to introduce this young woman?
Yes, this is
Hi.
Joycey. She's also a fellow student.
And is that all she is a fellow student?
Oh, and she is my fiance.
Fiance, yes. And one of the things that happens at Pacific Islands University is that we frequently have boy meets girl or girl meets boy, and it goes on from there. You know, go figure. You take 3.5 acres of land, build a fence around it, and put good-looking young women and good-looking young men on the campus, and lo and behold, they show an interest in one another. And Miyake is looking. So any of you out there that want to come to school, send your applications in, ladies, not only to be a student at PIU, but so Miyake can look at the pictures. And Scott, you're a graduate of our school. Tell us a little bit about what you're currently doing, not only here at school, but in your other ministry.
Well, I go to church and I pretty much minister there as a worship leader also, along with fellow students of Pacific Islands University, fellow alumnus.
So you guys, it's like almost like a PIU band that you have for the worship team, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. And your pastor is a graduate
Yes.
of PIU.
Graduate.
Recent graduate of PIU. And from what I understand, the thing about the 3.5 acres and the fence around it and boy meets girl, that happened to you as well?
Yeah.
And who is your fiance, Scott? It's not Marco. Don't look at him.
No, I'm not looking at Marco. Well, but Marco, you're very handsome too.
Yes, handsome dude.
Her name is Charity Alex, soon to be Refalong.
Yes, she wants to be ref along. And what do you hope? I hope you continue to work with us for a while, but what do you hope to do after Charity graduates and she's no longer your fiance? She becomes Mrs. Refalong. Well, what do the two of you hope to do then?
She wants to continue school, medical school. I want to go and minister to the islands, but that'll take some more years.
And which islands are you talking about?
Baffin. All islands. My home islands, my mother's homeland.
And that is in the state of Chuk, which is
That
part of
is in the state of
FSM, correct?
Yes.
All right. Well, that is a report after Mangkhut, the typhoon that ended up being what the locals call a banana typhoon. And if you want to find out more about that, you can write and they'll tell you what a banana typhoon is. We just had a little rain squall. You can hear the generators in the background because we're in a brownout condition here on campus, and so we're running some generators so that we can keep some food frozen because we don't want our students to starve to death. And actually, one of them's hooked to my refrigerator. I don't want to starve to death either. So whoever gets to watch this video, would you like to tell them goodbye?
Goodbye.
And thank you.